Hello, welcome back to the Terrace. Manchester City 3, Fulham 0. Another notch on the bedpost, a step closer to winning their third title in 4 years. And the quad is genuinely, bona fiably, undeniably on. We saw City tonight, not even close, in my opinion, not even close to being at their scintillating best. And in fact, Fulham did very, very well in that first half. Fulham, I'm not going to say completely nullified City. That would be a little bit harsh, but they were in the game. They were giving City something to think about. 76 seconds after the restart, bang, it's 1-0. But within 13 minutes of the restart, Manchester City are 3-0 up. Cruise control goes on. They quite literally walk the rest of the game, and it is just far too easy. And it's far too easy because they're just so damn good. They're just so damn good. And I know we're going to open the lines for you to come on and have your say. I want to ask City fans about the quad. How realistic does it feel to you? And I know I feel we spoke about City a few weeks back. There was a lot of people crying and boo-hooing about the money. Do you know why I don't have a major issue with the money? It's because they run their club so well. Man City are the blueprint. Regardless of the income of money you've got, if you run your club as well, relatively speaking, on a pound for pound ratio, you will be successful. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Man like Ruth here says, great to see Aguero scoring again too. Yeah, and do you know what? It was nice to see Aguero get on the score sheet because he's such a Premier League legend. And I think Sergio Aguero and David Silva, those two particularly for me, they get nowhere near the level of respect they deserve in the overall talk about greatest players in the Premier League. They're better than the majority of players that ever kicked a ball for Liverpool in the Premier League. Better than the majority of players that ever kicked a ball for Arsenal. You know, it's only really Chelsea and Manchester United that have a body of players that you could argue are in front of them. You know, Arsenal have some, you know, Thierry Henry. But even then, like, what I mean by that is, I'm going to rephrase that again. Let me just take it all back. David Silva, Aguero, and Vincent Kompany, those three especially, they're in the debate for top 10 players ever in the history of the Premier League. You also throw into that Frank Lampard, you throw into that John Terry, you throw into that Didier Drogba, Ashley Cole, Scholes, Giggs, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Rio Ferdinand. They're in the debate. Of course, Arsenal have some as well. I find that City players get a huge level of disrespect. There's no doubt about it. Julius here says, fair play to Man City. I hate them, but they are a very good team. They do. They do, and it's undeniable. Bayern and only a few other teams are going to beat City in the Champions League. Listen, I wouldn't even be too sure about that. I legitimately wouldn't sit there and just think, yeah, somebody else will beat them. This City team are capable of beating absolutely anybody at any moment, at any time. There's no doubt at all. Cedric here says, best run business in all sports. Blue Media here says, Jesus did really well today. The whole team did. And do you know what really stands out to me today? This is the sobering blow. The sobering blow to every Premier League team. Man United beat them. And the opening 15 minutes or so against Southampton, they still looked a little bit shaky. But they wiped their mouths, they cleared their heads, and they stepped forward. Everybody has forgotten that Man United beat them 2-0 only a week ago. It's forgotten about. It's done. It's over. Because they bounced back quickly. They have what Sir Alex Ferguson's teams had. When they have a little bit of adversity, the bounce back is so quick. The reaction time is so fast, rapid. So within the space of a week or so, you forget that it happened. Being a Man United fan, when we were in our pomp, I remember we'd lose at the weekend. And you look at the fixture list, go, right, we played Tuesday night in the Carling Cup or Wednesday night in the Champions League. Let's go win that game. Let's shake this feeling of losing off of us. And invariably, we would go and do it. And that's what that City team have. It's one of the reasons why I want to see Chelsea's team lose. Aside from rivalry at the moment, I want to see how they bounce back. I want to see their reaction to losing. This Man City team are pure, unadulterated champions. They are the best team to play in the Premier League since 2009, 2008, 2009, since that great Manchester United team. They're undoubted. Every other champion since then, including Man United's, their own, and of course, Liverpool and Leicester and Chelsea that have won the league since then, none compare to this Manchester City team. From top to bottom, inside out, sensational. Absolutely sensational. We were getting trolled a little bit earlier on tonight. I'm not too sure where the City fan has gone. He's called Maximus or so-and-so. He said that we never do review shows after... oh, there he is. Oh, he said he's going to become a member now. We've done a lot of review shows for Man City, so I don't quite know where he got that notion from. But if you're going to become a member, I want to see that membership ticker flick over. I know a lot of you, by the way, last night got a little message saying membership's been paused. It was so... There's going to be an announcement very soon from the Football Terrace, and we were switching a few things over. So it just got paused for literally a matter of seconds while we switched to a different provider. But nothing to worry about. Membership continues as normal, and there's going to be a lot more available to members very, very soon indeed. So keep your eyes open. Centurions here says the positives is we were without KDB, Mahrez, Raheem, Foden, and Gundogan. And that's it. So City have two things. They have this system that works impeccably. And on top of that, they have strength in depth. When you have those two things collectively, a great system with a great manager, and you have strength in depth, so you can handle rotation and injuries, you're flying. You know, an off season for City was just winning the Carling Cup and coming second in the Carabao Cup and coming second in the league, getting to a Champions League quarter-final. That was a terrible season. For the vast majority of Premier League sides, that's something to have a Mardi Gras over. Have a goddamn party. It's a madness. Terry, realistically, do you think City can do the quad? Now, that's a great question. That's a great, great question. And my answer is yes. Absolutely, bona fidely, yes, you can do it. Because you had those things I mentioned just a few short seconds ago. A great manager with a great system with huge strength in depth. So you can rotate. And now that you've given yourselves this gigantic insurance policy, it would take the biggest collapse in the history of the Premier League for you not to win the EPL. So that means you can rotate. You can now throw all your eggs into the Champions League and FA Cup baskets. Of course, you've got to beat Spurs. And I'll be rooting for Spurs to win that game purely because I'm a Man United fan. You doing a quad is my worst nightmare. For me, I feel like football's about to end if you do the quad because not only are you better run than Man United, have more finances than Manchester United, have a better manager than United and a better squad than us, you'll also take away our finest ever achievement. Of course, I'll still be proud that we've won the treble. And it's amazing that we did it first. But for you to do the quad and be the first team to do it, it's undeniable. I've always said about the treble, I liked being in this exclusive club. But if anybody else repeats it, we did it first. First English club to win the Champions League. First club to win the Premier League. First team to do the treble. To have you guys not only repeat and then outdo the quad with the condition my club's currently in, it's Armageddon. It's Armageddon. But do I think you can do it? Absolutely. Absolutely, I think you can because a great manager, fantastic style and system, and of course, this squad that is so, so strong. Terry, is this City team better than the Arsenal Invincibles? If I'm being honest with you, I don't even want to sound disrespectful. It destroys that Arsenal team that didn't retain its title and couldn't win multiple trophies in a season. And that isn't me attacking Arsenal. It's me going by my standards that have been around since I can remember thinking about football and debating football. Teams that retain titles and go back to back, teams that have multiple trophy winning seasons are the greatest. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. I'm going to open up the lines now for you to come on and have your say. Do me a few favors. Go into the link in the description below. All the different links to our social media platforms, our clips channel, etc. Please go and subscribe and follow and do all that jazz there. Also sign up to the Football Terrace Discord server. If you're brand new to the Terrace, I know we get brand new viewers and subscribers every day. We cover the top 6 plus 1. That's all of the traditional top 6. That includes Leicester, plus 1. Plus 1 is Arsenal. We do match reviews for every single team. We do previews for all the top 6 clashes, transfer videos, all other kind of shenanigans as well going here at the Football Terrace. And there's more to come very, very soon. So go sign up to the Discord server where you keep up to date with everything going on. Great chat room there as well. I'm going to share the link for you to phone up and have your say. But is the quad possible? And I want to know where you rank this Manchester City team in order in the Premier League. Who are they better than? Who have they still got to catch, in your opinion? I want your views and I want your opinions. A man like Maximus, the City fan, I want to see you sign up that membership after you've given me abuse all day. And now we've done this, which we always do, by the way. We've been doing this for a while. I'm going to share the link as well here. If you want to become a member of the Football Terrace, I'm going to share the link. I'm going to try and share the link. It isn't letting me do it right now. There we go. I've copied the wrong thing. If you want to become a member of the Football Terrace, you can do it from as little as 99p a month. I've shared the link in the comment section as well. Get yourselves on. I want to hear from you now. But also that like button. So important to independent content creators out there that you're hitting that like button. It truly, truly is that you hit it just to support the channel. Even if you want to get me bantered, hit the damn thing. Let's get it done. First caller we're getting on the show is going to be Edward. Edward, welcome to the Terrace. What do you want to say?
Yeah, so on the quadruple thing for City, I just don't like. They definitely got the capabilities of doing it, but I think they'll fall short in one of the cup competitions. I think it just might be the FA Cup. They might just lose in the semi-finals. Just something just tells me that they'll lose. They definitely got, as I said, the squad and the manager to do it, but it's one game, in the cup competition, anything can happen in them, like the FA Cup.
This is very, very true. And of course, that may happen. And do you know what I think is really important here to say as a kind of, sorry, 1 second, I'm taking a note of something. As a caveat, what's really important is the way rivals are going to try and spin this, City fans. So be warned of this. Get this ready for your debates. We're always here to help you out in your debates. As part of the reason we set this up. People are going to try and spin this quad into an expectation as opposed to it being an attainable desire. And they're two very different things. Something you should be achieving versus something you would love to achieve. I would love an 8-pack, right? I'd love to have a stomach of great cheese on. I eat too many Pringles. I eat too many curries. I eat too much pasta for that to happen, right? So it's a desirable and sort of ambition, something I'd love to happen, but it isn't really attainable with the way I do things. What people are going to try and do to Manchester City is if they don't win the quad, they're going to try and spin it as a bad season, as an underachieving season. We won't allow that to happen on the Football Terrace because our community has brains, right? That's what I say about all you guys. Our community here at the Terrace has brains, but people will try and do that. Edward, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. I really, really do. Thank you very, very much indeed. Next up, we're going to have come on. I want some City fans. I know we've got some Liverpool fans and some Gooners backstage. I definitely know that Gooner Express is a Gooner because his name says Gooner Express and he's got an Arsenal shirt on. Can you imagine if he comes on, he's not an Arsenal fan? That'd be funny. But give us a call and get yourselves on the show. I do want to hear from you. Thank you very much for Angolo Speaks for becoming an Academy member of the Football Terrace. Make sure you get that done now. We're going to be having a series of shows soon, highly produced, well put together, member-only access ahead of everybody else. You're going to have live streams with me only on the way. I can't tell you much more than that. Big public announcement coming soon. And that's all I'm going to say. The only other thing I'm probably going to say is No, I'm not even going to say that because that's going to sound bitter. Can't wait to tell you. And everyone that's been here for this journey so far, it's going to be amazing. So let's roll forward now, people. Let's get Gooner Express on with us here. Evening, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Terry, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. Give me your thoughts on City in terms of the quad is it on? And secondly, where do you rank them in terms of the Premier League hierarchy of teams?
Well, they're better than the Invincibles for a starter. Like, as an Arsenal fan, I can say that the Invincibles team was amazing. But like, let's be honest, if this City team plays them next week, even though like you see Henry and that in the prime, this City team will still beat them. I think if they win the quad, they have to be considered the best ever, because they've also done the Centurions with a lot of these players have done the 100 points as well. So you've got to put them up there. But the quad is going to be difficult. You know, Bayern Munich, for me, are very similar to City, where they can play quite poorly but still win 3-0. So that if that's the final, that will be like a great final. That will be so good to see. But it's definitely on. You can't, and like you've said before, it's not a must. It's a desire. But if City do it, then you've got to respect every single part of that. The fans, you've got to respect Pep Guardiola, the owners, all of them. You can say they bought the quad, but that they still won it. So that's the main thing.
So that's the thing about when people say you bought it. Look what I don't have the figures in front of me. If you look at what Arsenal and Tottenham and United have spent, and the reason I single out those three of the traditional top six is because they haven't won the Premier League in the last decade. They have spent hundreds of millions of pounds on players and salaries. Yes, City have spent more than them. But that doesn't mean you can't have come close. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have won things. But comparatively speaking, that means you're bought to a top six place.
Oh, so yeah. I don't think they bought it. I think people will try and argue they have, but they haven't. It's the way they're built.
I get that, and I'm not saying you have, but that's the irony. Oh, yeah. You'll get an Arsenal fan or a United fan that will be all crying in their, their salty tears into their tears. Oh, they've bought it. Well, that means you bought the top six or the top four, whatever way round you want to look at it. It means Arsenal have bought their FA Cups. When you compare it to, say, Southampton, Arsenal bought those FA Cups they've won in recent years. It's the same logic that falls down. It's just really, and it's not from Arsenal in general. It's those types of fans. It's just really weak, really pathetic, and really jealous.
Yeah. Just before I go as well, I want to quickly put some respect on Scott Parker and Fulham as a whole. I think when they got promoted, a lot of people were saying they're going to finish bottom, they're going to be awful, and they were at first. But they've been excellent, like the last few weeks. They just lost 3-0. But as you said before, they put up a fight. They always try and, do their best. And if they don't get relegated, you've got to put respect on Scott Parker as a manager. Like the way he's been able to just turn them around so quickly. They didn't spend much in January. People forget this. Like they haven't exactly changed anything drastically. He's just, as a manager, he's been able to change them. So I think if they do stay up, he needs to have a lot of respect put on his name, much like Chris Wilder did last season.
Yeah, of course he does. And I think Scott Parker is one of those, again, a young up-and-coming manager that plays very nice, progressive football. And I think there'll be a lot of clubs looking at him and thinking, I already look at Scott Parker and think, I'd love him. Maybe not now, but I'd love him to take over England. Because he plays the kind of football that I want to see my country play. We've got a lot of technically gifted players. He seems like he'd be a good manager in terms of the type of character. Whenever you listen to pros that know him speak, they all speak glowingly of him, and I think that's a real testament to him. And they're playing really nice football with. I know this is going to sound harsh, but I'm talking elite level spectrum here. Bang average players at the elite end of the spectrum. And all these players are excellent players at championship level. At elite level, they're bang average, but they're playing very nice football. If Fulham can stay up and slowly start increasing the quality within that squad, who knows how far they could go with this football and these tactics. Gooner Express, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate that. Smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. The link to call in, I've shared it again in the live chat feature. So if you want to phone up, if you want to have your say, things are open and available for you to come on and speak to us about. Now, next up, Monsieur Ahmed is on the show. What are you saying, Monsieur?
Hi, Terry. Just want to say, City are not human. They're machines. They're just like literally just grind out results. obviously as a United fan yourself and as a Liverpool fan, it's just killing us. Like, just give them the trophies and just let them season be over with, because we're just like absolute trash at the moment. But now you know what? They're there for a reason. It's because, like you said, they're well drilled, well run club. Owners are ready to pump the money, and the team and the manager, the players listen to the manager. They believe in him, and for me, I think they are up there in the top two, top three in the Premier League era. To show to start the season that they did, which was poor, and then to come back and now take the league by storm, it's an incredible achievement. I just got a slight controversial point to make. I know you're saying that they are a well-run club. I understand they are a well-run club. But thing is, they've got owners who, if say Man City was to go bankrupt, there would be no effect on them, because they've got money and money after money. Whereas we got the American owners who just care about that. If they do get bankrupt, they're going to have a massive effect. It might be a stupid point from my sense, but I just think they've got a well-backed owners where if Man City was to go broke one day, it won't have an effect on them, and they can just
Oh, you mean it wouldn't affect the owners?
Yeah, so they can just pump money into the club and get world-class players on high wages as well.
Yeah, listen, they've got. I think the owner is worth what, 200 and something billion pounds. I mean, the owner is so rich. City's owner is so rich. He's worth more money than all the other Premier League owners put together. He is literally that wealthy. But of course, there's only a certain amount of money that you can pump in and spend.
Yeah.
But what makes them so brilliant is how they spend it, and the structure around the spending. It's absolutely phenomenal. And not just that, what they've done for the local community in Manchester has been astounding as well. So it's not just, we've created a really great football team that benefits nobody outside of the players and the fans having fun. They've created jobs. They've created an ecosystem. They've created an institution there. They've then also done the same thing with New York and in Melbourne. So they've taken that money, which is, Middle East money, oil money, belongs to Sheikh Mansour and his family, but they've spread that into, as far as, it's probably more than I know here, but they've spread it, as far as I can see, into 3 countries around the world, and they have pumped hundreds of millions of pounds of their own money. And that for me is great to see. And of course, there are some people that are going to have some controversial views on bits and pieces. And I don't know too much about that, and I'm not overtly defending it. I'm just saying the football clubs they've pumped into have done amazing things in those communities, and there's no denying that whatsoever. Monster, go on, mate.
And that's what I mean. You just got to give credit to them on that case. And you know what? I hope Spurs win. I hope they are out of the cups, but that's not going to happen. Most likely, they're going to win the quad.
I mean, that's it. I hear that completely, bro. Listen, thank you for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, my bro. Next up is going to be Blue Media FC, Man City fan in the house. What you saying, bro?
I think it was a very good game. I thought Fulham gave us a fight. Fulham were a very tough side, and I think we did really well. But on the quadruple thing, I don't think we'll win all 4 trophies. I don't think we will. I think Pep will overthink one of them, and I just hope it's not the Champions League. And the thing is, winning 4 trophies is good, but in England, in the Premier League, it's very hard to do so. Hence why the greatest achievement in the Premier League is the treble. So it is going to be very hard for us, but we'll have to see. But I don't really see us winning all 4. I think we'll win 3, but I think we will sort of struggle in the FA Cup or Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. And do you know what? If you just win a Premier League and a Carabao Cup, get to a semi of a Champions League, that's still an amazing season. But by all standards, there's no doubt. Blue Media, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. I really do appreciate it. We had a comment here from Yogi, who says, this guy is talking crap, speaking about me. United has spent massively, and he has a go at the Glazers. Stop whining. Bro, you see, this is that sort. I don't even want to be rude. Your comment's so basic, bro. It's basic. Nobody is denying that Man United have not spent big. But what have I said repeatedly on this stream alone, plus count multiple others? Yogi. Where's Boo Boo? Sorry. Like, for me, it's a case of like how you've spent it, on what. into what philosophy, into what system. Man United spend lots of money and go in this direction, get halfway there and go, I'm going to go somewhere else. It's awfully done. So it's not just about the volume of money and the frequency of your spending. It's how are you going to generate a yield from the investment? That's the most important thing here. City have done that in abundance and done an absolutely brilliant job. Terry, don't give them attention. I'll respond to my viewers. Good, bad, or indifferent. You know, we're about that at the Terrace, and it is what it is. Keep hitting that like button, people. We're going to go to Alex CFC next. Then we're going to go to Abs. Alex, welcome back to the Terrace, bro. What do you want to say?
Hey, Terry, you all right? How are you? All good?
I'm very, very good, mate. What do you want to say?
Nah, you know, man, I just want to say that I think I'm scared of Man City, man. I'm scared that the way the club is run, the way they do business, it's just the whole general from up to down, you know, from down to the whole club is run in such a perfect way, and the amount of players that can bring in and change the squad, like it's scary, you know, like Man City for the next, you know, decade now, they could go and win so many titles and so many trophies, and it's you know, this could be a massive turnaround in kind of general football history. You know, if Man City, the way the club is run, they could go and win another 5 Premier League titles, no doubt about it. Maybe even between now and the next 10 years, and it's just like, yeah, that's just the point I wanted to make. I think Man City just look just scary at the moment, and I think football nowadays, yeah.
You're the only team. I just read a comment here. I don't know how true this is. It just said that Mumbai City FC have just won the Indian Super League, and that's 65% owned by Man City. Now, I didn't know that, and that's another cut. So I wouldn't. I mean, that's another country that they've obviously invested and done very, very well in, as well. The only team, though, in my opinion, and I know Liverpool have done well in the last few years, but I think moving forward, Chelsea you're gonna become their biggest competitors, and I think you're gonna be the only ones, because you're the only ones with the owners with the. So look at Liverpool. Liverpool created a team that caught City and then surpassed them and won 2 major trophies in doing that. Now Liverpool need an overhaul. Liverpool are not going to spend on an overhaul like Man City would do. Meaning it could take Liverpool 3, 4, 5 years again to get back to challenging Manchester City. We know Roman is going to say, let's go toe-to-toe with City for Haaland. We didn't get Haaland. Well, let's get Martinez. Okay, you're going to go after big players. You're going to try and compete with them because your manager wants to be top of the tree, and he wants to be top of the tree yesterday. He doesn't want to wait 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be an intriguing battle to watch Chelsea and Man City over the next 2 or 3 years, and I think Chelsea fans should be very, very excited about that.
Yeah, it's just like, I think it's just nowadays football has changed, and it's all about how it's all about money. Like within football now, if you have a wealthy club, and it's not only just about money, it's also about how the club is run. You know, so we would say Man City and maybe Chelsea, maybe the two out of compared to the other Premier League teams that are, you know, would say the best 2 run clubs. So it's all about in the future in general football. It's all about if you have a good club and a good ownership that runs the club quite well, then your future is always kind of bright. And that's the only worry for me, is that Man City could just run away with it. You know, they could really do. But yeah,
they could, and if they keep pumping the money in, you know, their owner's only worth someone sent me a link through. He's only worth £267 billion. He's got a few quid. You know what I mean? Listen, Alex, bro, appreciate you coming on, having your say. Really,
no worries,
mate. Thank you. Next up, Abs is back with us. Abs, how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm very, very well, buddy. What do you want to say?
Just want to talk about the whole Man City thing. I feel like Man City's starting to move in a great direction. Obviously, in terms of the efficiency of how they're spending, because you remember just a couple of years ago, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, where they were pumping money in like Mangala and even guys like Benjamin Mendy. But it's starting to look like every single player that they're buying now is actually being used. When you look at Riyad Mahrez or Ruben Diaz, even John Stones, we need to talk about John Stones being on the start of the England national team in the Euros, because John Stones is looking great. Not only is he amazing in set pieces, which is obviously crucial in international football, but I think his pace is really underrated. He's a lot quicker than people think. I think he's easily the quickest out of Ruben Diaz and Americ Laporte. But like their squad depth is crazy. Like, even when like I even forgot about Sergio Aguero, how they have him as striker because he hasn't scored since like January of 2020. But Riyad Mahrez is actually starting to look like a great signing. He's killing it whenever he plays. Even players like Ferran Torres, which he was not an expensive signing. They got him as a bargain. They got him for like 25 mil. He was on his last year. And when you have Pep Guardiola, it looks like as if he has like first dibs on all these Spanish talents that are coming up. You know, he doesn't have to look at these English players coming up through the ranks. He can now go into the Valencias and the La Masia and the Barcelona academies, and you just when you have that kind of money that Man City has, and then you have the type of manager that they have at Pep Guardiola, it's like they have everything perfectly, you know.
And you've hit the nail on the head there. You really have, because that's the whole point. That's it. They have the money, the resource, the manager, and now the winning pedigree. So again, rival fans can say no history, no this, no that. Young players don't care about that now. Maybe when they first got the money, the first 3, 4, 5 years when they were building. But now, if you're a 21-year-old, up-and-coming striker, defender, whatever it is, you've got the world at your feet. It's like Man City want you. They're going to pay the money. They've got Pep Guardiola managing you. You can create a legacy for yourself in the game. You can conceivably win over a 4 or 5 year period, 3 or 4 Premier League titles, numerous domestic cups, challenging the Champions League. When you've got the others, all the other Premier League clubs, barring sort of Chelsea knocking on your door, there's a little bit more, maybe it won't work because there's proof that it doesn't work. You know, there's only a handful of clubs you can go to in the world that can offer you what City are offering you, where it's almost guaranteed success, brilliant management, and a wonderful squad to be part of. There's literally only 2 or 3 at the moment that have that, and City capitalize. And where they are so potent in the transfer market is they have the cash reserves to pay cash for players. The vast majority of transfers are paid in installments. City can also get players cheaper because they can offer the cash and go boom. Okay, you know you want 60 mil, but rather than 60 mil spread over a 5-year payment plan, how about
50 straight up?
Yeah, how about 45 or 50 cash in your bank?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's worthwhile to them. It's so worthwhile to them. It really is.
Also, I just have one last question.
Go on, bro.
Yeah, because a lot of fans, like I'm a Spurs fan and a bunch of Arsenal fans, we're kind of pissed at the way how they got there, the whole money that's been injected into the club. And I guess we would have a better feeling towards them if they had a history of like a large fan base, or if they were based in London, you know, like in a populated area, then it kind of would make sense, because like there's a whole thing of the whole empty hat, and even though they're so successful, they don't really have a large fan base. But I guess if they were like a sleeping giant, maybe like Everton that has a huge fan base, or Newcastle, and then a big owner would have came and injected money and turned them into a big club, then I guess we wouldn't really have that feeling, that resentment towards them.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting is City probably do still have the smallest fan base of all the teams in the top 6. But in another 10 years' time, they won't, bro. And I hear people now with accents from all around the world supporting Man City. 10 years ago, people of that same age group probably didn't even know that same age group then probably didn't know Manchester City existed. In another 10 years, got to remember now, every year there's a new bunch of kids. So my 6-year-old boy, Archie, is really getting into football now. He likes playing FIFA. Whenever we speak, he's like, "Oh, you watching the game tonight, Dad?" Like, yeah, and we talk about the game. He's talking about football. Doesn't understand the rules yet, but he just likes watching it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Man City," but he knows who Man City are. He knows who they are. Now, I didn't pay that. I paid a little bit of attention to City as a kid, but they were always in and out of the top flights. I didn't really look at them because they weren't playing against Man United. So they were the City rivals of the club I chose to pick. But I never really thought about them because they were so out of the way. But my son's going to grow up as a 6-year-old now, as Man City being the best team in the country. So my son's era of fans and people maybe 5, 6, 7 years older, and all the kids born after him, they're all going to know who City are. So in another 20 years, and that's my biggest fear for Man United, we are losing out on so many my son's a Man United fan. I made sure that he was marked at birth like he had to be. But we're going to lose out on so many young up and coming fans because we're not one of the best teams. And that's where, for me, the clubs that are not being run well in the short to medium term, so over the next 10, 15, 20 years, they can still keep the income coming because they've got this huge global fan base. But without trying to sound morbid, every year fans fade away.
They get more phased out.
Well, phase away through natural causes, right? This is what happens. People get older, they move on. Some people stop. A lot of people, you see a lot of blokes I know, for instance, they kind of get into their early 30s and have children and families, and they fade away from the club for a little bit. Some don't. Some go even more in. But a lot say, "Look, I've got family ties now. I can't go to games as much. My other half isn't a big fan, so they fade away." But what will happen is if there's no draw to come back because you're not winning or playing attractive football or doing well, less people will support you. And then in 20 years' time, you'll have a smaller global fan base, and it becomes a problem. And that's what eventually when the owners,
like Newcastle, for example.
Yeah, but they'll sell when we're not finished, but they'll just sell when we've dwindled away. And it's if I support anybody other than Chelsea right now, I would legitimately be so fearful of the next 10 to 15 years what Manchester City are going to do. Abs, bro, I appreciate you coming and having
Good
your
question,
say.
and I'm a log off. You don't need to. At what point do we start to take Man City seriously? And at what point do we stop saying, they have no history? Because they've been dominating for like 10 years now, and that's pretty good history. I'm like, just because they weren't winning titles in the 80s doesn't mean that you don't have history.
Comment here, by the way, Maximus, thank you for becoming a member, bro. I appreciate you signing up. There's a comment here I wanted to read. It's from Tiago. It says, "Terry, I'm from Brazil, and I became a City fan in 2012, and this is what happens." So that's 10 years. This guy's only been a fan. That's a long time. The banter of "you've got no history" is the same as the Chelsea one. "You've got no history." It's dead now.
It's dead. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because in the last 10, 15, 20 years across both those teams,
history.
They've created history, and it's there.
Right there.
Someone who's 70 years old might look at it as it's short term, but to the young generation coming through that are going to take football forward,
City
and Chelsea are players. City and Chelsea are the two biggest teams of the last decade in the Premier League. Nobody can deny that. Abs, thank you very much, mate, for coming on, having your say. I appreciate it. You're absolutely right. We have to take City seriously. We have to take Chelsea seriously. You start, I'm not taking what they do seriously because they haven't built their club up in the way that I want them to. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to become really rich and just buy a house in Hampstead Heath just so I can piss off all the upper class rich twonks that live there. I don't want to live there a little while, then I'll sell it and move. I just want to walk in and be as loud, brash, and cockney as I can. And I'd love to be able to do it through achieving something amazing in my life and making money out of it. The way I really want to do it is by winning the damn lottery, because that'll wind them up even more. So me, a council estate chav, turning up saying, "All right, peeps," do you know what I mean? Full track. I will turn up in a bright purple tracksuit, big white trainers, hat on. I'll even put a bandana on under my hat to wind them up even more. White Range Rover with blacked out. I'll turn up a bit looking as chavvy as possible just to wind them up, because that's how I feel we're treating Chelsea and City fans, right? It's like, it's new money. It's a new way of doing things. We're being snobby and we're discarding you. One, that's stupid. Two, they're battering us. These two clubs in the last 20 years, they've chomped and chomped and chomped and chomped and chomped and chomped away at what we've done. They've chopped us down. They've put us through the shredder. They've packed us up and shipped us off. And now they're flourishing in what was our sunlight. People can stay as bitter as they want, but we're done. We're absolutely done. We're done out here with these clubs. Why are people talking about DT on here? Why are people talking about DT? That's just the most random thing. Terry, last year, everyone was talking about how Pep was done and wasn't going to rebuild City. Now it looks like he is done. So it looks like he has. Do you see him staying for a while? Do you know what I do? Look, for me, I wasn't saying that like, it wasn't like I was saying that he couldn't do it. I was saying that I don't know if he could do it, because he'd never had, there's no pedigree of him rebuilding a team that he's already made really successful. He's proven that wrong, us all, not wrong, but he's proven us wrong to even have doubted him, and he's doing it. And it's another tick in the box as to why he's one of the greatest managers of all time. They have not been dominating. Who haven't been dominating? So let's just have a little look at this. Just have a little look at this. Bear with. Bear with. Bear with me. So, since 2010, Chelsea have won it 3 times, and City have won it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and this will be the 5th. So, in 11 years, 7 times in 11 years, it's been won by City or Chelsea. Man United won it twice, and we've faded away. Leicester won it once, and Liverpool won it once. So, out of 11 years, 7 of them have been won by Chelsea and Manchester City. And do you know what? The only reason that Chelsea, in my opinion, have fallen out of the reckoning in the last 3 years was primarily down to the transfer ban and other little things they had coming up. They would have bounced back a little bit quicker. And they've pretty much always been there or thereabouts. It's dominated. In the last 5 years, right? In the last 5 years, it's been Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, City. So, 80% of it in the last 5 years has been won by those 2 teams. That is, sorry to say this to you, Philip James, that's quite literally dominating, bro. That's 110% dominating. Completely and utterly dominating. There's no doubt. There is no doubt. But I wanted to check. That was just in my head. I thought they were dominating. Now I've looked at it. It's made me more depressed. Thanks for making me go and check that, James. Appreciate you. Dude is walking the league in a hoodie. Was Pep wearing a hoodie tonight? It's the only thing about Pep. His dress sense on the side makes me laugh. He doesn't dress like a manager, but I suppose that's the modern day world. I've got to get with the program, innit? Do you know what I mean? I'm even thinking, I'm trying to I'm trying to move on with my thoughts. And I think it's really important in life to look at yourself and try and change how you behave. And I know there's a lot of virtuous ways of doing that, but I think how I'm going to prove to the world that as I'm getting older, I'm not being stuck in the mud and I can move forward is I might wear another club shirt on the show just to say, there we go. I'll pick a team outside the Prem. I'm probably going to pick a team outside of Europe as well. So I don't feel at all like I'm cheating, but I might move with the kids and be like, yo, maybe I'll get like a Broca Juniors or something out of another part of the world. Maybe I'll do that. What do you reckon? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. As you are wearing a hoodie. No, see, you misinterpret me, right? I wouldn't go to work. I suppose I am at work. I wouldn't go to my job in London wearing a hoodie still. Like, I wouldn't do it. I sort of look at the way I think a manager should either be in a club tracksuit or in a proper suit. That's just my feelings. That's all, bro. Like, I think when you're playing at Wembley, if you're not clean shaven, but if you've not had a haircut and a trim and you're not looking tidy, that's like, ooh, it's a big day. Like, for me, culturally, whenever you've got a big day, big meeting, job interview, weddings, meetings, whatever it is, big day, you shave, you trim the beard, you shape up, you get your hair cut, fresh clothes. Yeah, that's it. I'm not saying you should never wear a hoodie. That isn't the comment I was making there, bro. That literally wasn't it. Terry, that is the same with Spurs. The last 12 to 16 years, they were content with the good football. Now, all of a sudden, they want to win a cup in the next year or two. They'll want to win the league. Well, everybody should always have aspirations of growing and getting bigger and better. But there we go. Mino cuss weird. Terry, can other clubs catch up? Yes, they can, but they have to run themselves well. They have to be run well. If they're not run well, they will not catch up. It's as clear and as straightforward as that. It really, really is. It's as clear and as straightforward as that. No doubts. No doubt in my mind. Let's do some more calls here. Next up is Samad is on the show. Samad, welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say?
Hi, Terry.
Hi, mate.
I think Man City don't win the quadruple because I don't think any team has done it before. So that has in my mind that they won't do it this season. But I think they will have more trophies this season.
Sorry, say that all again?
I said Man City, I don't think they will do the quadruple this season because in my mind, I don't think there's any team that has done this before. So I don't think they'll do it this season.
Listen, they may or may not. It's going to be a tough one for them, but I think they have the capabilities of doing it. There's no doubt. Samad, thank you for calling, my bro. Really appreciate it. Next on the show, Mohammed's with us. Mohammed, what do you want to say, brother?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, brother. What do you want to say?
Now, I'm a City fan. I can give my thoughts about the game. Well, I think in the first half we were Fulham on the better side. We were not good, you know. Aguero, Jesus, Ferran, Torres were not good as well. But in the second half we turned up and we played really well. John Stones scored again. I mean, I think he scored more goals than Timo Werner this year. Anyway, yeah, it was a good assist by Cancelo as well. A second goal scored by Jesus. It was a poor goal, as you can see, for Fulham. And the third goal scored by Aguero.
Yeah.
And it took him a year to score, which is a bit weird, but anyway. But yeah, you know, good win. We played really well in the second half, and yeah, clean sheet, another win. Happy days.
Absolutely,
and,
mate.
talking about the quadruple thing.
Yeah,
Listen,
do you think you can do the quad?
Listen, I don't care about winning the quadruple. I just, you know, we can win the quadruple. We can, but I don't think we will win it. I think we'll get knocked out of the Champions League, but this time in the semi-finals by a top team, Bayern or someone. So, yeah, listen, it will be difficult for us to win the Champions League. You know, if we play Bayern. If we play Bayern and we beat Bayern, then I think we'll win the Champions League.
There we go. Listen, Mohammed, thank you for calling in, having your say, mate. Really appreciate it. And of course, there's lots of trials and tribulations for Manchester City. Loads. Hundreds of them. Absolutely hundreds of them for City to get over. But they have the capabilities. They have the tools. They have the manager to get this done. It could end up being... Ricky keeps saying Ollie signed a new contract at Man United. I did search it quickly. There's no news on that. I did panic for a second. I was like, wow, really? Could there be? What? That can't be true. That can't be true. That can't be true. No. Oh, it is. So what's the true story? For fuck's sake. Nah. What's it saying here? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has won a new £9 million a year contract. Sources at Old Trafford say they are set to begin any day on a new deal with the Norwegians' current 3-year contracts to click into the final year next month. Senior management. Anyway, guys, listen, that is the end of the stream. That is the end. A new deal! Joe, I'm not even... I ain't even talking. No. See you later. Stream's over now. Stream's done.